Hello, everyone. Welcome to I'm Not 20 Anymore with your host, Shakira. And I also want to say happy 2022. Of course, it's a little late, but you know me. I mean, I'm back and I'm here to stay in 2022. I'm so glad you decided to take a listen or even watch this on YouTube. I appreciate you greatly for listening. So, if this is your first time, I'm Not 20 Anymore is a podcast all about the things that we go through as you advance in age. If you're over 30, this is the podcast for you. And this is the things that we can tell you or teach you that you can learn, grow, and heal at the same time. So, get ready for today's episode. We are in a series. This series is called the shaming series. Yeah, I know it's a new year and you're like, we're already starting like that. But the reality is, it happens all the time. It happens to many of us, women and men. And so I want to talk about maybe you do it and you don't even realize that you do it. Maybe you do it intentionally, maybe you do it subconsciously, but we all have been there where we've done it and didn't realize that we were shaming someone. So, in today's episode, I would like to talk about body shaming. Yes, in my last episode, I did share that I got weight loss surgery in 2021. Actually, I'm only still a few months in, so the process is so as I continue to do these episodes, and you might see me slim down a little bit. It is a work in progress. It's not just about the weight; it is about the mental as well. It's about learning myself. It's about growing. It's about having inner and outer confidence as well. And I'm definitely gonna go a little more in depth about that. But today is just about body shaming. And the reason I want to say that because even as I continue to learn myself and have dealt with weight issues all my life, whether up and down. I've tried so many different things: the soup diet, the Beyonce lemonade diet, the cabbage diet, pills for weight loss, and so much more. So I have done it all pretty much. And so got to that place where it was like you have one or two options. And this was the best route for me, not for everyone, but for me. So I want to talk about body shaming because it's not just a fat person's issue or skinny person's issue, it's everyone. Um, Even now, I've been reading some books about, just how you get treated differently when you are overweight or obese, because overweight and obese are totally two different categories. Um, but people, you come into a store, they can look at you like, oh, you're sloppy, or you don't have any money, you can't afford anything, depending upon what you're wearing. Not every not every overweight person deals with this, but there are a lot that do when they go into places or they go into stores to shop and they don't have your size, and you really like the clothes, but then the people that work there are kind of looking at you like, get out, like you can't afford anything, but you can't fit anything in here. We don't have anything for you unless you're buying accessories, so you need to go. um, and that happens often, more often than you would think. Even same for body shaming with slimmer individuals. I won't say skinny, I'll say slimmer, but skinny or slim. Where people are like, you're size zero. Like, I mean, and they body shame you because maybe you have a great metabolism. Okay. Something that I don't have. Maybe you have a great metabolism. Maybe you work out. Maybe it's not, you have an eating disorder. Or maybe you do. But at the same time, it doesn't make it right for someone to criticize you or talk about your weight, whether you're too small, you need to gain weight, then you gain weight and they're like, oh, why'd you get so big? Or you're too big, you need to lose weight, and then you lose weight, and it's like, oh, you're so skinny, nobody's gonna like you anymore, and you would think like, oh, this is childish stuff you're talking about, or this is stuff that people in high school and middle school deal with, or kids. But no, I'm talking about adults grown adults deal with this all the time. And even now, speaking of as kids, of course, as I was a kid growing up, my family didn't really realize that by making little statements like, you know, little fat whatever, or, oh, you gaining weight, or touch your stomach and be like, oh, where'd this come from? Little comments like that. And most people think, ha ha ha, I'm just joking. But you don't know what that other person is feeling inside when you say that, because they've been trying to lose weight, or they understand that they're overweight. They don't need somebody to point it out. If you gain 10 pounds, you gain 10 pounds. I don't need you to point out that I've gained 10 pounds. Now, sometimes, of course, a joke is a joke, and I can laugh at that. I know that, I've always had like, um, healthy arms. I'll say that. Like, I've always had healthy arms. So friends, family always be like, "Oh, your arms are so healthy, squishy, whatever the case may be." And it's just kind of how my body has always been. Even when I was slimmer, I still had, I don't know, a little bit of healthy arms. And so but I never took offense to that, because it was what it was. Like, I'll admit, like, yeah, my arms are they're a little healthy. They're a little squishy, but at the same time, it's when you start to make it so noticeable. And then to the point that you start to kind of body shame yourself. You're like, oh, I can't go in that store because I'm not going to be able to fit anything. Then it goes to self sabotage of your body. Like, oh, they don't have my size or whatever. Or, oh, you start making comments. And it was at one point where I had a conversation with a friend of mine, and she had to point out to me, like, why do you always say something about your weight? And I had to stop and think, like, I don't I don't do that. But in reality, I kind of was shaming myself and saying like, oh, I'll eat that whole cookie thing and gain 15 pounds. And I'm saying it jokingly, but then deep down there is a rooted issue. It's like, well, why would I eat the whole thing of cookies? This may or may not relate to you. And it's not just about fat shaming, because slender, skinnier individuals get shamed as well. Like, why you eat so much and you never put on any weight? And then people are hating you, or and you're like, I'm trying to gain weight. I just can't. It's not in your, we all have different genetics and built differently. And a lot of times people don't realize, like, that's a offensive, that's offensive for you um to be saying things like that, and then not realizing internally what it's doing to that person. That person might go home and eat a whole thing of ice cream, cookies, cake, because they're like, I need to gain this weight. And really, it's poor choices of eating. So they still may not gain the weight, but they're um they're maybe increasing their cholesterol. They are giving us putting themselves closer to a heart attack. So you never know what you're going to drive someone to when you make little sly comments about their weight, about their shape. Because we're all shaped differently. Some people got a nice hourglass shape. Some people don't, for lack of better words. Some people don't, but that's how they were built. Their mother looked the same way, their grandmother looked the same way. All they can do is try to work out and reshape their body if they want to. Not your choice, not your body. So remember that the next time, this wasn't to be a super long uh point or message in the series, but this is my first topic. And I just want to say, the next time you want to body shame someone or talk about someone because of their weight or their height, also I'm 5'9". That is also I mean, I've always been one of the tallest kids in my class since I was, I don't know, 9 or 10, because I come from a tall gene of family members. My mom's side are they're all tall. So fortunately, I used to wish that I was short because I was embarrassed to be so tall. And then that it was not just the weight factor, but it was the fact that I'm also tall and I hated being tall. I wanted to be short so badly. But then I had friends that were short that was like, I wish I was tall, you know. And I used to think that, people wouldn't date me because of my height. Oh, I'm too tall. The average guy is like 5'7". Until I started to meet men that were 6'2". Then I was like, okay, there are options out there. And then there was always one girl that was maybe an inch or two taller than me in every class since elementary through middle school. It was just one. So it'll be like, form a line. I'm like, let me just go to the back and see if I'm the tallest or if there's one more before me. So I hated being tall for so long. High school years, it was dreadful. Because everybody was shorter and it just seemed like that was the popular thing, and then you got joked or whatever the case may be because you were tall, but you couldn't avoid that. And I wasn't raised, I will say this, because there are a lot of women that are tall, that they were raised to embrace their tallness. They were raised to embrace their height and love their size and their figure, and I say kudos to all of you. And if you're raising young women or even young men, men don't really have this issue, but uh not as much. I would say, I'm not gonna say they don't, but young women, please make sure you have them embrace their size, their shape, their height, their color, whether they're brown skin, dark brown, light brown, Latino, just there's so many um different colors we come in. The spectrum is so huge, Asian, whatever the case may be. Make sure that you're showing them how to love themselves, no matter what color, what height they are, what their weight is. The whole goal, and even when it comes to weight, is to be healthy, to not put yourself in a grade too soon, to make sure that you are consuming the right things. Doesn't mean you can't have chips or you can't have cookies or you can't have ice cream, but it's all in moderation. You shouldn't, I was a kid that got to eat whatever I wanted to eat. And sometimes that's a good thing, but sometimes it's not, because I would want to educate my child on, here's the balance between the two, so that way we make sure that your bones are strong, your heart is strong, and you're getting the vitamins that your body needs. But that's enough of my tangent. Again, I will have another episode that will talk about the weight loss and the whole new world that I live in now. But as for now, I hope that if you did learn something, or maybe you'll be more cognizant of what you say to your kid, to your friend, to your mom, to your dad, whomever, to yourself, that you are aware of body shaming. This has been another episode of season 2 with I'm Not 20 Anymore podcast. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.